Okay, welcome to Emuna is our future weekly class. We are coming from Jerusalem, that's right, the Holy Land, and we're very blessed to be here and excited to be here for another weekly class on how we can win-win in a public victory way. Now, I'm going to explain this is obviously based on a whole big book from Stephen Covey. And I recommend reading it, even though it's been around for a while, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And he goes from private victory, which is what I consider the last 3 weeks we've been working on, how to focus ourselves on being more proactive with unity, how to have a mission statement, end in mind, and then use that mission statement, those goals, those values, that essential part of ourselves that keeps us from being overwhelmed by life, and go into our life in a practical, functional way in our time, in how we use our time, how we prioritize. And with that ability, we'll be able to then go to the next level, which is after, we're focused on our time, how to then go from private victory to public victory. So today's going to be about win-win. We want to win. We want to be victorious, yeah? We want to be the victorious ones, the ones who are successful in life. Now, obviously, what is your measuring stick? That makes a big difference. What is success? That each person is very relevant to what their goals are, based on their mission statement that we spoke about, on what they're forming as their foundation. And for us, as the Emuna is our future, the goal obviously is on the foundational level is Emuna, which means to have intrinsic belief in our Creator, in the guiding universal force that's bringing everything together to flow in the ultimate direction in our personal life, in our public life, from our private to public experience. But the key is to really be win-win, is to remember that we are not just on this earth by ourselves. There's as much as we have to do that inner work and that self-development, and thank God there are so much books now and so much advice, and specifically in Chutz where I'm sitting right now, there's the Garden of Emuna series from Rav Shalom Orish, and there's all the inner work you do through the Hispodedut, the talking to your Creator and our Creator, and being able to have that relationship through prayer and through learning the Torah, learning spiritual ideas and values of what life's about, and guidance in terms of how to live practically according to the Torah or according to the value system you've built. And that will give you then ability, once you've done that private work, to now understand that there is a whole world around us. It's not just me talking to myself. And that's something which, one of the feedback points has been for my classes is that I'm not just talking to myself. I'm talking to people, thank God, through the internet, through this new reality in the last 20 so years of being able to post and be involved with people on a public forum, not just by sitting in, like I did for many years, teaching in classes in Jerusalem or being part of classes in Jerusalem. Because remember, also attending events is also a public experience. It's not just about the teacher, but the people in the class, the people listening, create that atmosphere, create the energy, and how much they're not on their phones distracted or whatever it was 20 years ago. They're focusing in that energy, that group energy, that experience creates the overall effect. And that's why, according to our Torah, if you attend a lecture, an event, a shir, like Emuna is our future tour, you come and you be part of it. That already is a public victory. That is a win-win, because you're joining together with other people. You're going out of yourself, out of your own space, which is not always easy. Like last week I had a bar mitzvah. I really wanted to go, but at the same time I didn't make it. So I was in my personal space with my soulmate, and that was important, but at the same time I wasn't able to attend that public experience. And not always do we get to do that. Like, thank God I've had lots of special moments in Israel and in Jerusalem with my family, and I haven't been able to share it with a larger family because just practically they weren't there, and that's a shame. But that's the reality, is the public victory was not as grand as it could be, because ultimately the goal is, and this is what I pray for every day, is that we should all come together. That's something which which is the ideal image, this big value system, a big goal, a big dream, and big reality that will be in the future of the idea of the Messianic age, of the idea of the Beis Hamikdash, the third temple, where we all come together in one place, in one time, as one people, and the whole world would be united by this unbelievable connection. So that's a very big, goal and dream and prayer and truth that will become manifested. But until that ultimate sense of reality has come in the most physical way, we have to come back to our practical daily life. How do we make public victory? How do we win-win? How do we join together with other people? That not only do I win, but the person with me wins. So in the case of Stephen Covey, it's in business, often the mindset is, how do I join together with other business leaders or other people around me to successfully achieve, in business, win-win tactics, things that make real differences in people's lives. So for example, there are people giving you tips or guiding points, like with my classes. So do I listen to them or do I get upset? Do I learn from them or do I say, block them from commenting or whatever? No, the opportunity is to learn, obviously, it's growth orientated. This is now people giving feedback. You have the opportunity to make a win-win. They win because you improve, and you win because you're learning to listen to advice and grow from the audience around you, from the sphere of influence around you. And that's going to happen all the time in business. For example, your customers are going to come back and give you feedback. Your clients are going to come back and give you feedback. Now, we are in a world where, unfortunately, a lot of people are not mentally or emotionally stable or healthy, and not a lot, not the majority, but definitely a decent amount. We know that the figures are pretty high in America of the amount of people suffering depression and loneliness, and this is manifesting in the need to take pills and different ways of dealing, and every person themselves should obviously seek their own professional guidance and advice how to deal with that if they're going through that. But but the point is that for each of us there is an opportunity to listen to other people's advice and to filter if it's coming from a healthy place, and that we can grow from it. The goal, once again, is win-win. We should win. We should be growing. We should be victorious. It should be success. It should be a journey towards positivity and enhancement and empowerment. And it should be done as a group, as, once again, your sphere of influence, the people that you have an opportunity to encounter. So on our Emuna as our future tour, there's an opportunity to encounter all the people in Toronto and all the people watching online, and then we move from Toronto to Miami, and all the people in Miami, and then all the people in Mexico City, and then all the people in New York and New Jersey that come to that Emuna tour experience 2019. That is the sphere of influence. But once again, there's that online experience as well, because we can, thank God nowadays, we can video everything, we can live feed, we can record and put it up, edit it later, however it goes. But then there's the opportunity also when you're actually in person with in front of a person physically. And I think that's another powerful point, that there's a tremendous loneliness in the world. And I think a lot of that is to do with underestimating the power of win-win, underestimating the power of public victory, of going beyond our private development into trusting a public space that we can succeed. Even though, yes, for sure, there's the media, and it's known as called the fake media, or whatever it is. There's a whole media world around us that's described as not trustworthy and etc. And we have to therefore have the right boundaries and be respectful of people's space. But at the same time, there's a public forum for us to communicate. There's a public forum for us to connect, and even better in person when we go travel. Like, I'm going to be in London soon. There's an opportunity to meet with people in London that I wouldn't be able to do when I'm in Jerusalem. Or in Jerusalem, people visit, please God, people come to the Holy Land. They'll come visit us. And then we have that personal face-to-face. That is the best way of connecting to another person. Face-to-face business is still the most effective form of business. No matter how many people say that they chat and they phone and they this, and these are all different ways that are helpful and beneficial, the best form of business done is that face-to-face experience. That's why it's an interesting concept, like this live feed, like you're watching, and please God, I'm giving over good energy and good Emuna content like we spoke about last week, that the time should be used well. But then there's also this aspect of, even though you're seeing me like electronically somehow, really there's a physical bonding when you're in a room with someone. There's a physical connection, a moment of intimacy that's spiritual, that's soulful, that hopefully you can feel somewhat through these screens. But then there's also the soul of actually being in the room. Like when I was in the room Sunday, 2 days ago with yesterday Sunday, it's been such a busy time. Sunday was with my Rabbi, and I was with my family, and we got a blessing, and he gave us all honey, and just the intimacy, I couldn't even explain it, like the moment of connection, the feeling of what's going on all many levels that you get with these holy people. Like, please God, on the Emuna tour with Rav Oresh, you'll have that opportunity of Shalom Oresh, and please God, I hope to have an opportunity this week to get another blessing from Rav Oresh myself, because I believe in the power of these holy people. They have keys in the higher worlds that can influence us down here, and even just on a practical level, on an interpersonal level, they're very focused, they're very caring, they're very loving. It's just an increase of positivity. And nowadays there's so much people trying to take energy. There's people, thank God, still in this generation wanting to give energy to another person, to win-win, to not just give financial benefit, and not just to give spiritual benefit, but to actually give emotional and positive warmth and energy. And it's something which I know I need to work on as a husband, as a friend. Can I be present? Can I give that love and energy? And that emotional bank account is really where the big money is. That's something Stephen Covey talks about, the emotional bank account. How much have you given time and love to the people around you that they were therefore, their bank account is high emotionally, and therefore they will be able to connect in like a loving way, that they'll feel that warmth and that moment of bonding, and that there will be a win-win experience. And that's something which I know I'm working on it, and I know that that's a big key. Once you have emotional equity, and then you can really succeed, like with the people around you, because they believe you, they trust you. It's a safe space, as many rabbis like Rabbi Jacobson spoke about, this idea of safe space. You've created that safe space online or in your home or in your space, and that trust, that connection, that emotional connection is gives you the power to really have a very strong sphere of influence towards winning, if that's your goal, which is what our goal is to win-win, is to be victorious in an eternal sense, in a sense that's everlasting. So now I'm just going to end off with like a little Parshat Shoftim point. What I know from this week is something very dynamic and practical, is that we have the concept of kings of Israel, this idea of a king, of a Melech Yisrael, that will be appointed, and leaders. So I know from Rabbi Lord Sachs and the Lubavitcher Rebbe, who he got this influence from, there was a tremendous need for empowering people around and building leadership. Not just leadership for yourself, because that's great. The rabbi became the chief rabbi, and before that he wasn't even interested in being a rabbi, as you hear from his personal story. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe woke that up, that power to lead in Cambridge University, or in his environment, whichever it is for each person, to not just realize that you are, once again, working on yourself, but you have an opportunity to influence the people around you as a sphere of influence. You have ability to empower and lead people in a positive direction, and that can be on a klalistic level, on a universal level, on a very big level, and it can also be on a small level within your home or in your little business or whatever you're doing in your own little like group of friends and network. You can influence the energy, the conversation, and it can be towards growth and empowering others. So the Parshat Shoftim, we see from the King of Israel, they're empowered with certain guidelines how to do that, how to influence the Jewish people in the world towards a place of positivity and win-win, of energy and ultimately revelation of godliness through their kingship. That's what the King of Israel did, like David the King, David HaMelech, Shlomo HaMelech. They brought down this revelation of kingship in the world that brought everyone back, just like we're going to talk about when we lead up to Rosh Hashanah, and hopefully during this month of Elul we're going to feel through with the shofar blowing every day, and the slichot for some people, and there's the Doved Hashem Uri we spoke about last week. There's light that's in the world preparing for the new year, that is giving us the ability to influence the environment around us to be more positive. And that is the best preparation for the new year. That it should be a win-win year. It should be a year of success. It should be a year, please God, we pray that the Emuna Torah is successful, and everything we're doing has God's smile, the Creator's smile. It has a feeling of warmth and love. The emotional bank account is full up, that we're filled with love towards the people around us. And if we're not, we start to work on that more, to give more peace of mind And like I spoke, to try to breathe more when we're speaking, to give space for the other person so we can build a win-win environment around us, and it will be ultimately to the benefit of all of us. Emuna is our future with win-win. This will be the ultimate public victory of all of us together. Amen. Have a beautiful week. Thank you for listening.